Have you ever felt like being an artist is like living in an indie film, but without the budget, the soundtrack, or anything but static noise? Where every existential crisis plays out like a liminal scene in another reality. Welcome. This is not a dream, but your new reality. Crisis. When creating becomes a constant existential struggle, and that feeling of staring into the void becomes your new normal, it's more common than you think. Being creative isn't just about having brilliant ideas. It's the endless capacity to imagine the non-existent, to envision what is and what could be. It's waking up each day, hoping something will make sense, while the world keeps asking if you found a real job. Is all of this really worth it? The life of a creator is fragile. We walk alone, without applause, without recognition. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people will only see the final piece, not the 7 breakdowns you had along the way. That's exactly when you need something that embraces you without judgment. Philosophy. Philosophy and creativity share the most important resource: problem solving. As Socrates said, an unexamined life is not worth living. No, this isn't about memorizing Greek texts or knowing who killed whom in Athens circa 400 BCE. It's about using philosophical thinking to survive as a creative mind in a world that asks if you've monetized your trauma. This doesn't mean you must rethink your existence every time you draw a wonky hand. It means real growth comes from questioning, from observing, and from learning to sit with your chaos without trying to fix it all at once. We don't need outside validation. We need to accept ourselves first, to sustain who we are, and to remember, our flaws are part of our creative essence. Chasing perfection can be more draining than helpful. Spoiler, perfection doesn't exist. But if you judge yourself too harshly, you'll turn "I want to improve" into "I'm a fraud" with an overpriced tablet. That's when the real noise kicks in. You start feeling like no one gets it, like even you don't know why you're doing what you're doing. But wanting to grow doesn't make you less of an artist. Your current perspective is just one among many, and the wider your lens becomes, the more you start to understand where the discomfort comes from, and what you can do about it. What if I told you that the great philosophers can actually help with your creative problems? Having problems doesn't make you weird. Feeling emotionally drained doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're growing. And growth hurts. But it also shapes you. Not all discomfort is a diagnosis. Sometimes, you just need a new way to see things. Let's start with existentialism. Viewing your creative life through an existentialist lens means accepting this truth. You will never be the same person twice. Not you, not your art, not your motivations, not your mistakes. And that's okay. Every crisis reconfigures you. Every choice reshapes you. Every line you draw, even the ones you erase, transforms you. In existentialism, there is no perfect plan, only decisions and consequences. You can't control the chaos around you, but you can choose how you respond. And those choices, those tiny creative reactions, define who you are today and who you'll become tomorrow. The fear of judgment.
What if they think I'm ridiculous?
What if it's not good enough?
What if they laugh at me?
This is the silent monster that haunts almost every artist. It convinces you to self-censor, to keep things hidden, to abandon projects before they're even born. From an existentialist perspective, this fear shows up when you haven't yet chosen to live from the inside out. When you let others decide if what you do is worthy, you're handing over your creative freedom, and that freedom is yours, even if people don't get it, even if it doesn't trend, even if it terrifies you. Let's see an example. You're about to post a drawing. Your finger hesitates. Too weird, too sad, too honest. The existentialist looks at you, raises an eyebrow, and say, "Nothing makes sense, but if this piece represents you today, maybe it won't tomorrow. So post it now." You post it. You feel the anxiety, but you survive, because this time, you chose you. So for this, I have a mini challenge that I like to call your creative alter ego. If you could create with total freedom, what would you do differently? Your mission is, imagine a creative alter ego, one that doesn't care about trends, one that does what you usually hide. Do it, but do it from a place that doesn't seek approval. Do it to reconnect with yourself. That version of you deserves to exist too. Stoicism. Stoicism focus on what you can control, let go of what you can't. Being a Stoic artist doesn't mean turning into an emotionless rock. It means using reason to move through your emotions without sinking. Stoicism reminds you, you don't control the algorithm. You don't control public opinion. You don't control whether your hand cooperates today, but you do control how you react. You do control how much you practice. You do control whether you show up or hide away. Instead of spiraling into creative self-hate, the Stoic observes their chaos calmly. They ask, this thing that's bothering me, can I change it? If yes, I work on it. If no, I let it go. It's simple, but not easy. That's why the Stoic artist practices consistency with humility. They know perfection doesn't exist, but growth does, and it's in their hands.
Brutal self-criticism.
This enemy doesn't want you to improve. It just wants you to punish yourself. It ignores progress, shrinks your wins. It highlights every flaw like a permanent tattoo on your record. And the worst part, it uses your own voice to do it. Stoicism fights back with one uncomfortable truth. You're not broken. You're just learning. Brutal self-criticism disconnects you from your actual progress. The Stoic artist, in contrast, acknowledges mistakes without turning them into a personal curse. They commit to improving, without making every misstep a moral failure. So, let's see an example. You're redrawing the same line for the 4th time. You erase it. Again and again. You mumble, I suck at this. You blame your stylus, your hand, your very existence. The Stoicist shows up, sipping chamomile tea, and tell you, I already hated myself, and survived. Just breathe. Practice doesn't need to be perfect, just consistent. So now you save the draw, not because it's perfect, but because it gave you a chance to practice, to do it. And that, even if no one sees it, still counts. So for this, I have this mini challenge that I like to call the control table. Make 2 columns. In one, list everything that's frustrating you about your creative process. In the other, highlight what you can control. Now focus only on that second column for the rest of the day. Not to ignore the rest, but to reclaim your power. Your job isn't to control everything. Your job is to do the best you can with what you have today. Don't let go because it doesn't matter. Let go because it's not up to you. Pragmatism. Make it work, even if it's ugly some days. Being creative feels like drifting through endless fog. You have ideas, but can't move forward. You have the urge, but can't even start. And that's where pragmatism can pull you out of the mental swamp. Pragmatism isn't obsessed with brilliant theories that don't actually help. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to work. Pragmatism doesn't ask for grand revelations. It asks for action. It asks you to get out of your head and try things, even if they feel weird or messy. Usefulness comes after the attempt, not before. While other philosophies might tell you to think more, pragmatism says, think just enough, and then move. There's no single truth, no sacred formula, just functional versions of yourself, your habits, and your art, versions you can tweak over time, which means you don't need the perfect brush, you don't need a final art style, you don't need the groundbreaking idea, you just need to start and adjust as you go. Analysis paralysis. This enemy doesn't want you to choose. It wants you to overthink until you freeze. It wants you to run through every option 1,000 times until the spark of excitement fades away. It wants you to wait for absolute certainty before taking a single step. And while you research, compare, plan, and hesitate, it smiles. Because its goal isn't to make you fail. It's to make sure you never begin. Pragmatism doesn't deny your doubts. It just reminds you that knowledge without action is just anxiety dressed as productivity. Get your body moving. Make a decision, even a small one. Correct as you go. Iterate. Because the hardest enemy to beat is the belief that things have to be perfect before you start. Let's see an example. You are stuck. You've been picking a color palette for an hour. Pinterest, references, filters. Nothing clicks. The pragmatist shows up will tell you, What if you just picked a random one and kept going? So now you use the first palette you had, because you know you can change it later. You finish the piece. Is it your best work? Nope. Is it done? Yes. And in pragmatism, that's a win. So for this, I have this mini challenge that I like to call Try It Ugly. Pick an idea you've been postponing because you want it to be perfect. Now execute it in its simplest, fastest, most meth version. Do it on a torn scrap of paper. Use one single brush. Keep it in black and white. The goal isn't to impress. The goal is to just do it. This works because it breaks the cycle of unrealistic expectations and brings you back to the flow of trial and error. Action, not paralysis, is what unlocks real learning. When you're alone, when no one seems to understand, sometimes the only safe conversation is the one you have with yourself, or with an AI. Philosophical counseling isn't here to dig through your past, it's here to help you see the present clearly and decide how to keep walking, based on your own beliefs, values, and inner questions. Then this approach can help you look at your creative life from a new perspective. How to use AI as a philosophical counseling? AI isn't a therapist, but it can be a mirror for your thoughts. You just need to know what to ask. So, here's a prompt I wrote to help you be as specific as possible when talking to ChatGPT. Feel free to pause the video so you can read it, and also you can find it in the commentary section. So basically, a philosophical counselor has a job of bring your ideas to the surface and clarify them, suggest new philosophical perspectives, address the issue from a philosophical and neutral lens, and also you can adapt the tone of the response so you will be most comfortable. Either you prefer authoritative or intuitive, but also maybe you just need to drain your brain so you can figure out what you're feeling. So you can also try the shortest version. Open your mind if you're searching for answers, not because this video has them all, but because maybe it's time to see things from another angle, one that hurts less, one that doesn't run on autopilot. There are always options, and even if you only choose one, make sure it's the one that feels most true to you. Keep your mind open. No one knows for sure what it means to live or die. The only thing we know, there's something inside you that hasn't died yet. The hope that things can change. Yes, it could all get better or worse, but only you will be around to find out. Some people suffer from illness, and others suffer with no visible cause, just doubts, wounds, and unanswered questions. That invisible pain, the one no one sees but slowly wears you down, that's the one we tried to shine a light on here. Not with magic fixes, but with something older than the algorithm, philosophy. A buried treasure, but still there for anyone tired of suffering the same way. One more time, because only when you're truly tired of suffering for nothing, will you start doing something different. And that first step, no matter how small, clumsy, or full of fear, is yours. Ask yourself this today. What philosophy is guiding your creative life? Because if you don't choose one, the world will choose for you.